What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Reality TV RHAPpy Hour. My name is Jordan Parhar, and as always during the Big Brother Over the Top season, I'm here with you on a Wednesday night to discuss what is going down in the BB house. And with me today to recap the first night of Big Brother Over the Top, at least the first few hours of Big Brother Over the Top, is two-thirds of the live feed correspondents. I said it's so late. I mean, this is what happens when you work the night shift, guys. This is the latest I've ever started a podcast, way past my bedtime. First is a man who has to get up at 7 a.m. Tomorrow morning, and I believe it's approaching 1 a.m. on the East Coast. It's Taran Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. Taran, how are you?
I'm great. You know, I feel like we've got a train wreck of a podcast coming up for what is potentially a train wreck of a Big Brother season. So, I mean, I think it's looking pretty good. And I don't know about you, but I feel like we should coordinate our birthday month letters to figure out if we all have the same one.
See, I was half paying attention, because it was just like 2 hours. For those of you who did not watch the episode, it wasn't a regular episode. It was just like 2 hours of feeds. But Taran, did somebody say that they need to coordinate? I imagine did Shelby say that, or was that Shane?
When it was Morgan, Scott, and who's the Shane? Maybe.
Yes.
They were
McRae.
It was just them. Yeah, or Victor. It was just them in the house. And they just trying to make small talk. It was super awkward. And they were just like, "Oh, when were you born? Were you born in May?" And they were like, "Oh, we're May buddies." And then Scott was like, "Yeah, I was born in March." And they're like, "Oh, so close. Oh man, but they all start with M. We've got that going for us, right?" It was so bad. It was so bad.
Oh man! Speaking of Scott, here's his number one fan. It's Alex Kidwell, ladies and gentlemen. Alex, how are you?
Yeah, doing good, Jordan. Thanks for that introduction. Yeah, we should do something to strive to make this podcast a little more OTT. Maybe some kind of fan interaction. Maybe you can vote for Taran to wear a ridiculous hat during the podcast or something.
I'm not a fan of the hat. We need less hats in this world. As long as Alex is not wearing the hat, I'm good to go.
Wait, you don't like hats, Taran?
I don't like Alex's hat.
What's wrong with Alex's hat?
It's a weird hat.
Which hat?
It's the weird backwards one that looks like it's leather or something.
I'm a man of many hats.
No, he's talking about Alex.
See, I knew this was going to be confusing.
Oh, yeah. It happens for the first time, but it won't be the last.
See, at first,
literally like the first 2 minutes of the first podcast.
See, I thought Alex was in on the joke, but then I realized he legitimately thought you were talking about him. There we go. Yeah, Alex, I saw that you were. I don't know where it was. Maybe it was on the patron Facebook group or Twitter. You said that growing up, you were always the Alex who got their name pushed to the side. So I vote that we keep calling you Alex. We don't call you Kidwell, and we'll call Alex in the house. I don't know what we want to call her, but what's
Millet?
Millet? Is that her last name?
Yeah.
Willet. Kidwell is a lot better than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's why it always reversed. Every time it was like, well, we've got two Alexes. We could call one Kidwell, or the other one was Gersabeck or something. I don't know. There's always something less appeasing.
Oh man! Wow. Okay. Well, Kidwell, I think I don't know. Because I think we're gonna have to go with that for now, or maybe AK87. Is that your? Can we call you that? That sounds kind of cool, right? I don't know.
We can just call Alex Dream Girl. I think that's fine. Because come on.
All right. Well, before we figure out what we're going to call Alex Kidwell and Alex and BBOTT, let's set things up for you guys. We're going to be live every Wednesday night during the Big Brother Over the Top season. Usually it's going to be a lot more organized than it is tonight, but because this was the night in which all the house guests entered the BB house, we didn't actually get an episode tonight. We just got feeds and we got to see them literally enter the house for the first time, interact with each other one at a time. It was a very long process seeing them all go in. So we actually didn't see too much on the show tonight. So don't really have to worry too much about spoilers. You're going to find out all about this stuff in the first episode of BBOTT. probably within the first like 5 minutes of next week's Wednesday episode. So I recommend you stick around. Don't know how much we're going to get into tonight, but every time I say that, the podcast ends up going over 2 hours. So who knows? We could be, we might be going over the top with the length of this podcast, but we're going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking about Big Brother over the top, what we think about the house guests so far, who's looking good, who's not looking so good, the house guests that entered the house, lots of, or some, I guess, great things, and should be great. Great discussion between the three of us tonight. Just to let you guys know, if you have not signed up for CBS All Access, you can sign up through robhasawebsite.com. Go to robhasawebsite.com/BBOTT. If you have not gotten your All Access yet, you can sign up there, watch the feeds for BBOTT, and see the edited episodes when they start airing next week, I believe. Also, one other thing of note, Brent is in Las Vegas, so unfortunately he cannot be here with us tonight. So send Brent your best wishes and tweet him good luck as he is in Vegas, and looks like he's having a lot of fun based on his Snapchat. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about what happened. I mean, that was a really interesting night of Big Brother. We have never really seen something like that before. I have lived something like that before, but it was a little bit different than that because there was no live audience. And just the format, Taran, was very interesting. I mean, we just saw them enter one by one over the course of 2 hours. Scott was in there awkwardly by himself for a bit. Did you expect this to be what we were going into tonight?
No, not at all. I expected it to be sort of like a normal thing. I expected Julie to be a little more involved, to, do the regular move-in, which I would have preferred. I think I didn't mind the one by one thing. It was just like the time in between each person that came in was just way too long. So it just got to the point where just like, get this over with already. Like, this is not the best start to the season, I don't think.
And the problem with this choice, right, is that this is exactly how BBUK does it. So now, like, you're forced to compare it to that. The difference is BBUK right outside of their house has like a live audience, like outdoors with a big walkway, and it's like glamorous, and there's all kinds of lights and stuff going on, and the host is right there interviewing them with like a sweet video package right before each person goes in. So if you're gonna go this route, cool, but like now you're putting yourself up against something that just looks so much more polished than what you threw out there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to Alex and Taran offline before we did the podcast that, the three of us could have done a better job producing something. Like, even if you don't have to have the big fancy night or whatever, if you don't have the budget, but I don't know, have them talk to Julie instead of having these pre-taped segments that Julie blatantly is lying about, saying she's live. Did you guys pick up on that? Like, Julie's like, oh yeah, like I'll be here with you live. And it's like, that is obviously a taped segment, Julie, that you recorded 3 days ago. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. So interesting stuff. So Taran, why do you think they did that though? The one by one, like what's the benefit of doing that instead of doing a regular 5 people at a time thing? Do you think just in terms of production, it's easier for them to manage that way? Why do you think they went that route?
I guess that's probably part of it. Part of it is also probably that, I mean, they clearly didn't have much of anything produced for this entire thing. Like the package that we saw live, apart from the interviews, which were, somewhat what we'd expect, what we've come to expect from Big Brother, to like the montage where Julie was talking, it was just like pictures of them. It seemed like very low production quality. And it seemed very much just like, we're just going to put the feeds on and that's going to be our show. So we need something to keep people invested for a little while, because we don't have anything else right now. So it was like, oh, well, we'll just, here's an idea. We'll just put them one by one. We'll give them each like 15 minutes to mingle in, and that'll be totally cool. But they just misjudged the time, I think, in between people letting them in. They should have restricted the entire thing to an hour, and have them come in a bit more rapidly.
Yeah, it was painfully long waiting 2 hours to get everybody in there and then wait for surprise Jason Roy to come back into the BBOTT house. Alex, this is the biggest surprise for me since Derek beat Victoria in Big Brother 16. I can't believe that Jason beat the Messiah to get back in the house. I know Rob, seriously, like I know Rob thought that Jose had a chance, but this had to not even have been close, right, Alex?
No. Yeah, this very much felt to me, and I know for a fact many others, like kind of what happened with Jace in Big Brother Canada, where he's kind of up against Tim, and also Nikki and what's her name, Victoria,
Veronica
from
from Italy, BB Italy or whatever it's called. I don't even know.
Vanessa. Yeah, she
Italia.
she really had no shot, and it was very much like you got the feeling of just kind of a fall guy. They set you up to knock you down. It's tough. It's tough life.
Taran, will the Messiah ever rise again, or has he gone off to a better place?
He's probably gone. Like I feel like this is a shot. I don't think they're too interested in bringing him back. I mean, if he can't even win a vote to come back into a season like this, I don't think they're that interested in having him on again. I think this is probably it for Jose. No Grammys either.
That's what I was gonna say, man. Like that Grammy dream is just kind of a little further away now, I think.
And I will say about this format too, where it's just like it was so slow. I feel like it was a big mistake on their part, because I think a lot of people who are checking the show out for the first time, they're like, oh, I'll give it a try. I'll give BBOTT a try, see what it's like, who haven't experienced the feeds before. They don't know how boring it can be. They watched this and they were like, is this what the show is going to be like? Like, what is this? And they tuned out, and they're probably going to be like, well, I'm not interested in this show anymore. I think it was a weird decision to make it this slow. And I mean, like, even just like put Jason in first, because Jason's going to entertain if he's in there first. That would have been better, I think. But no.
Yeah. Although on the plus side, a lot more people have an appreciation for what we do now, because they've seen what real feats look like. And yeah, people are calling us like warriors and all kinds of stuff now that are undeserved. So I'll take it.
No, you guys are warriors. You're reliable, Alex. You are. It's true.
Yeah, armchair warrior, maybe.
Yes. Let's talk about Jason here. He comes into the house. I mean, based on we got to see him for maybe 30 minutes. I liked what I saw from Jason. I was interested, Alex, to see that. I don't think, did anybody really know who Jason was in there, because it seemed like it sounds like Alex knew who he was. Yeah. Whitney knew who.
Is that your impression?
Yeah, that's my impression, Whitney, because she's so slow. It's like it's like I'm trying to do a southern accent. It's like Whitney, like it's just so slow. I'm sure Alex
Taran is falling over.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's terrible, but she knew who he was, Alex. But did anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think some more people did. Certainly Scott. I think the reason that we really just feel like nobody did is because Chrissy really vocally did not. Like, who are you? What's your name? Like, and like Chrissy was the person who in her interviews was like, I'm a fan. And Hollywood Reporter's like, are you really a fan? She's like, no, you got me. I watched like 5 minutes. So yeah, I mean, I think Chrissy definitely did not. There's probably a couple other people that did not. Maybe Shane or Monty I don't know, but I think most people did.
Yeah, I don't think most people. I think most people didn't know who he was.
Really? Do you?
I think there were a few that did. Like there was a group talking at the kitchen table after he walked by. He was like, right. Yeah, I'm back in my house. And they were like, he was here before? They were like, who is this guy?
That's true. I mean, Shelby probably didn't.
No, I don't think they did. Yeah. I think it was because they got around and they did the traditional Big Brother, everybody get around in the living room, sit on the couches. Let's drink champagne and introduce ourselves. They did that thing. And Jason said, yeah, I was on Big Brother 17. And to me, yeah, it seemed like a lot of people didn't really know that. And they were kind of asking about it and asking about a season. He was talking about James, which was very interesting. Poor James.
Well, here's who I think knows him, or what I would expect to know. It's like Whitney, Alex, maybe Danielle. I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily, but Cornbread definitely, right? And then Scott.
No, I did Cornbread? I don't think Cornbread knew. Cornbread
not a fan.
I thought
he said he's seen a lot of the seasons, but never finishes them, which is like okay.
Know who Jason is.
Okay, let's just say Cornbread for the sake of this. Let's just say Cornbread knows him. Okay, so Cornbread knows him. Who else, Alex?
Yeah, like Alex, Scott, Whitney. But yeah, that might be it. I mean.
Yeah, Scott, when Taran, Scott was very awkward tonight. Did you pick up on that? Like, he was trying to be nice and trying to talk to people, but he kept bringing up that he's a debt collector, and he just was giving me very Ronnie-esque vibes. Although Ronnie was like not so much Ronnie at the start, because I think Ronnie was well liked at the start of BB11. It was more so Ronnie after his HOH reign, and everyone was like, "Ooh, Ronnie, I don't really want to be associated with him."
Yeah, people gave Ronnie every chance.
but to be fair to this archetype, like, this is the worst time for them. This is the time that they're gonna fit in the least. This is when we see Ian freaking out around the house. This is when we see Steve tell Devon that he loves her. Like, this is not a good period for this kind of player. So I haven't seen anything too crazy from him as far as that's concerned. So I'm not super concerned. I mean, obviously he's the first in, and then Morgan comes in, and Morgan is like the complete opposite personality. So that was just really awkward. He tries his best with the small talk, like, "Oh man, I really love the colors in this house," like 15 different times.
Yeah, he said that he loves gold and silver. Like, it's either that or he's like incredibly nervous, but it was very funny.
Right. My favorite part was when he introduced himself during the champagne thing, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a debt collector," and Jason was like, "Oh, get him out of here."
Yeah, that was good. I feel like Jason is not going to be very fond of Scott, Alex.
I don't know. Yeah, probably not. I mean, it probably gets some Steve vibes, I would think, and that might spook him a bit. But yeah, I did like here's the interesting thing about tonight and doing it the way they did is, like, you got to see some interesting social dynamic elements that you wouldn't get to see ever, because of the fact that the first episode, the premiere episode, is always taking place a week after, and it's always condensed and edited so well. You know what I mean? So even though there was a lot of downtime and boring elements here, you did get some very interesting social dynamic stuff. Like, for example, Scott's in there first, and you get Morgan to come in, and like Taran said, total opposites. And then the third person to come in is Shane. And within like 30 seconds, Morgan's like touching Shane's hair, like, "Oh, ain't that luxurious?" And Scott's there like, "Yep,
yeah.
Hey guys," like, it's tough, but this is, it's like reverting straight to high school. You know what I mean? It's fantastic to watch. And then more people come in, and you begin to see, like, I tweeted about this because I thought it was so interesting. Like, they, people congregated and then would disperse, and a lot of times the dispersion was like a group of guys and a group of girls, like just kind of two gaggles, like going off to sides and then coming back to the middle and mingling and then going off again. It's just very funny to watch people interact for the first time when they have this, background consciousness that's telling them you're on TV and you're in a game and all this other stuff. So you have to really be the nicest version of yourself. But it's awkward, and it's interesting to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Taran.
It's I mean, I talked about how it was really boring and it was slow, but like, I think that for people like me and Alex and other, people that watch the feeds, this is fascinating. Like, this is stuff we've never been able to see before. And like Alex was saying, it was really interesting to see some of the stuff, like Morgan talking about the London room. It's a really masculine room. That's the guy room. And so very naturally people started to gravitate, like, a lot of the guys moved into that room. And so now, we may end up having some sort of guy girl split, largely because Alex or Morgan decided that was a more masculine room. You know what I mean? Like, bed placement can be very important in Big Brother, and it's very interesting to see how that played out. And obviously seeing the champagne thing, live was cool, because we never got to see that before. But yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, and I think probably the best part about OTT is that feeds are going to be on for the first week of the game, and that's something that normally doesn't really happen. The first few days, there's nothing, and so there's a lot of working with a lot of misinformation at the start. So I won't know everything that's going on until you, Taran and Alex, tell me what is actually happening. But the information will be there for you guys. So I'm very excited for that. Let's talk about let's see who is interesting here. I mean, there's a couple people. What did you think of Justin, Alex? I mean, he's a guy who seemed like he was high on maybe on cornbread. I don't know what it was. But I liked him. He was I didn't expect him to be so likable, but he seemed to kind of get along with people. He was pretty chill. And I think Rob was actually right on this one. I think Justin's going to be okay for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I was wrong when I said like I thought maybe this guy would be like a little too assertive, at least so far. But I was totally right when I impersonated this guy because he did say "mon chéri." It's been an hour and he's already said "mon chéri" at one point. So, over assertive restaurant owner, maybe not. Walking Cajun stereotype, ding, absolutely.
Yeah, Taran, what did you think? Were you impressed with Justin? Do you think he can do anything in this twisty version of Big Brother?
I wasn't particularly impressed. He's kind of what I expected so far. He just like the reason I was sort of down on him was that he seems like a drastically different personality than the rest of them, where he lives a very different lifestyle. He owns a restaurant. He's in New Orleans in the French Quarter. He's just a very chill guy. Hasn't seemed super social yet. I have the feeds up right now and he's talking to a bunch of people, so maybe that's changing. But he did seem a bit more introverted than we may have expected, which might be, further evidence that he's not necessarily going to fit in. But you never know. I saw him talking with some of the guys. I've seen a lot of the guys sort of go into rooms by themselves and talk, which says to me that there might be some bonding going on. But
I forgot to mention earlier. I wanted to mention, obviously, the sisters. We need to talk about what really happened there. Very interesting interaction with those two. Of course, you guys mentioned Morgan was in there second, so she was in there for quite a while. I assumed Alex, the older sister, not Alex Kidwell, was Alex Willett. I'm already gonna forget it. Let's just call it Kidwell. Let's just call you Kidwell, okay? It's just
damn it, it's happening again.
Anyway, so
whatever. I can't. It's like trying to fight a wave. Like what are you gonna do?
Or love, Alex. You can't fight it. It just you can't fight it. It just happens. So anyway, Alex enters the house. I guess there was, I don't know, about like 6 or 7 people in there at that point. And very interesting. She goes with the Pax Bros approach, goes up to Morgan, kind of gives her a hug, asks her what her name is, that kind of stuff, pretends like nothing is wrong, doesn't even acknowledge that they are related. We saw in their packages before the show that the one produced part of the episode, they both talked so much about how they could not play with their sister and how it would be the end of the world if they were in there with them.
I called it, Jordan. I told you.
Right? So there you go, Alex. Well done. So
it's totally gonna happen.
They're not going to work against each other.
I was waiting for someone to call me on that.
It's not going to happen.
I mean, it's just the stupidest thing ever, right, Taran? It's just like, come on. Like, you really think, like, they're obviously telling them to say this, and, like, they know they're going to go in there together. Seems like, though, Taran, based on what we saw, one, they're going to work together. Or sorry, they're going to work together, but they're not going to be their own player. They're going to be, they're one, it's a late night. It's a late night.
They're not paxing it.
They're not Pax Brosing it. Okay. They're not Pax Broing it. They are playing as individual entities. They are not playing as a unit. That's the first thing. The second thing is they're going to pretend like they don't know each other. Taran, how long is it going to be until these two get found out? Because I think it's going to happen pretty quick. They look very similar.
They really do. And the second she came into the house, I was like, what are you guys doing? You couldn't like change your hair just a little bit? They have like the same exact hairstyle, the same hair color. They have very similar faces, very similar body types. Like, and they're constantly standing right next to each other. Like, stop it. Like, you do better. Come on.
Yeah, well, I guess I can only assume they didn't know that, they don't know each other's going to be in there, so they don't know how to prepare their hair properly. Like, they don't get to coordinate that the way the twins that have played together do, right?
They did know, though. Like, she mentioned it in an interview beforehand. Alex talked about how she was going to hide the fact that they were sisters. Obviously, they don't necessarily know what the other one's going to look like when they come in,
Sure.
But they could at least stop standing next to each other and stop sitting next to each other.
Right? Like in the champagne gathering thing, they were right beside each other. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm from Texas. Oh, I'm from Texas. It's like, What are you doing? Why would you do that? Sit at opposite ends, lie about where you're from, because people are going to freaking figure that out if you're not honest about it, or just be honest. Alex, would that not have been the better move here?
Yeah, it's tough to say, man. It's really tough because then I think you kind of have to once you're at the point that you're looking so much alike and you're both like from Texas and you're the only two blondes in the house. I don't know. It's dicey. I mean, yeah, it's hard to imagine people are going to be that stupid and it's going to last that long. The problem is really for Alex, right? Because Alex is the one that's going to really worried about her stake in this game, you would think, and is the one that really wants to do well here. And she's got to kind of realize probably that, it's certainly, at least from what Morgan said in her bio, I mean, Morgan gives a lot less Fs. And Morgan's going to be willing to like just say whatever she needs to say, I think, at various points. So if you're Alex, you probably want to get out in front of that. And yeah, I was definitely worried for him. There was a moment where everyone's talking, but Jason's on the couch and he's looking in their direction and they're sitting next to each other. And he said something about a twist. And I was like, oh, my like ears perked up, but I realized he was talking about himself. But I was just waiting for that moment where he's sitting there like, yo, Hookus is related. Like I really thought that was coming.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he was in on it with Davon, Taran in 17, right? With Liz and Juliet was that Davon who told Jason about that?
Well, it was Davon that noticed, and Davon told Jason, and then they went into investigation mode. So it's not necessarily that like, oh, maybe Jason is going to figure it out. Obviously, though, he has experience with it. He's going to be on the lookout for it a lot more than probably most of the other house guests. But I think you have to try. Like, you have to try to hide it, because if you can, it's a huge advantage. Like, it's gigantic. To have somebody in the house that you can trust 100% and nobody knows anything about it, you can never talk in the entire game and never show that you are close to this person, be on completely opposite sides of the house and just dominate, essentially. Like, it's a huge advantage if you're able to make it work. So you might as well try. And then if people figure you out, it's like, well, of course we lied about it. Like, we didn't want a huge target on our back. Like, you usually don't get held against you for the most part. So I think they do have to. I want them to try better. I think this is the most dangerous time for them, because this is when people are going to be on the lookout the most. Like, all right, we're sizing people up. What are the twists? What's going on here? This is when they need to be like, I'm putting my hair up right now. I'm not going to be standing next to her. We're going to maybe say we're from different states, something. But
even Oklahoma, like, you don't have to go that far away. Come on.
I would really like to see them pull it off for at least a little bit longer. I'd love to see them hold the secret in for the entire game. That would be fantastic to watch, I think. So I'm rooting for them to keep it.
Yeah. Alex, over under 1.5 days until they find out.
I think it's a shame, though, because, yeah, I agree with Taran. I think, that's the kind of thing that would be really cool to see. It's kind of like the Brigade thing, where it was like, this would be boring to see every season, but it was kind of cool to see like a group covertly maneuver once like that. And yeah, I think it would kind of be like that, where like if you had two super capable siblings that were able to do that one season, that would be really cool to see. I just don't know that we got that here. I think Morgan, like I said, I just get the impression that Morgan is not so much here to really like wheel and deal and try to play this game. And that's probably just going to end up frustrating Alex to no end.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing with a sibling, especially if it's a sibling who is like not on the same page.
Just never cared. Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it would be, for me, it would be fine because like I love my sister and we're like on the same page with everything. But like this situation, not so great. Last thing on these sisters, Taran, I thought it was kind of clear that they filmed these, like the intro packages. They filmed them 2 months ago because Alex just kept going on about how much she loved Pokemon Go.
Yes, right. I was like, this is a bit out of date. Like, is she just like really behind on the times, or is she just like a really diehard Pokemon fan, or was this like 2 months ago? I would hope for her sake that it was 2 months ago, because I like that she's a gamer, but I mean, if she's still playing Pokemon Go, then maybe she's not like a super hardcore or anything.
Kidwell, are you still playing the Pokemon Go? And if so, did you pass your dad on it yet?
I think I did that a while ago, but no, I haven't played in a while.
Yeah, that just kind of died, hey? Like it just sort of was just like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, they'll probably release some big update and people get back on it, I would think, at some point, but who knows? Yeah,
Maybe
it's
they'll
huge.
Yeah, maybe they'll do Pokemon Go OTT. Maybe that's what'll get people back into it.
For a month there, it was really big. And yeah, depending on how early they grabbed her to do that video package, that was a real hot button topic to try to win you some America love in there.
Did these guys don't know who won this season, Taran, but couldn't Jason technically spoil it for them and just say, yeah, just so you guys know, Nicole won, and also Jose almost got in the house and he didn't. Like I found it like normally I would think no, but it seemed like the house guys were talking a lot about production, and production was kind of just not saying anything. They were talking about Sequester, that they were watching Dexter and like other TV shows, which normally would never fly. So what did you think about that?
Well, actually, Jason said that he wasn't allowed to watch the finale, and so that he doesn't actually know who won.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess he could be lying, but I don't see why he would. And honestly, do we even know if he knew that he was up against Jose at this point? Like,
well, he was in the like in the finale. It was like Julie's like, who do you want to vote for?
Yeah, they had that
Jose or Jason.
but were they in the same
back-to-back video package where he's like looking at him and casting all this shade? Yeah, because I just remember the faces
vote
he was
for
making.
me.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the faces he was making, I would probably forget. But Jason, like Jose's looking there posing for Jose, and Jason the whole time is just like,
oh
freak
yeah,
the hell out, just like, really, America, is this really a choice right now? Like he gave the perfect faces, I thought.
Okay. All right. So I'm just trying to think about what else was interesting from this evening, because we really didn't get a lot. Cornbread. I mean, here's a guy who I think a lot of people are either going to love or hate this season. Taran, I think Brent is going to absolutely hate Cornbread. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. I feel like that's probably the type that Brent would dislike. Who do we think Brent is like loving right now?
Oh man, who is Brent loving? I don't even really know. I guess maybe Shelby. Does he like Shelby and her weird laugh?
No, Alex likes Shelby.
Yeah, I'm the Shelby fan.
Okay, I guess we're gonna have to ask Brent. I don't
That's
really
my
know.
bandwagon.
I guess Jason. That's who Brent likes, right? And that's probably about it. I don't know.
Who doesn't like Jason?
Yeah, it's true. But let's talk about Cornbread. What does he have? We were kind of high on him going into this, doing the cast assessment with Rob. Seems like he's getting along with people pretty well. He's not
Chrissy,
really
Brent would be a Chrissy fan, no?
What's that?
Wouldn't Brent be a Chrissy fan?
I don't know. Chrissy kind of was mad tonight. Didn't you think so?
Just kind of,
Okay, well, we'll get to
take charge, and
we'll get to Chrissy. We'll get to Chrissy. Taran, talk to me about Cornbread. What is your take on Cornbread? Were we right about Cornbread?
Well, I was actually down on Cornbread. You guys were high on Cornbread.
So were we right on Cornbread?
Were you right? Yeah. I don't know. He definitely doesn't seem as bad as I thought he might have been. I think that there were definitely other, universes where Cornbread comes into the house and he's way worse. So he's got that. Overall it was pretty just normal. It really wasn't anything that really stood out for me for Cornbread. It was, for a guy that is, a lot older than the rest of the house guests for the most part, he seems to be fitting in decently well. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be included in the like initial clicks or anything like that, but he seems to be doing all right so far.
Alex, did you find it weird that he said when he was a kid his name was Chad, but then didn't his bio say Michael Cornbread Legon? So does this guy have like 12 names or what?
Yeah, I found it super weird. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if maybe like Chad is his middle name, or I have no idea. I mean, I do know that like that's sometimes the thing. Like I have a friend who's like from the sticks, and he always, like, I thought for the first like 3 or 4 years of knowing him that his name was Jay, and I found out that was his middle name like a long time later.
Well, in fairness to your friend from the sticks, I have friends in the Great White North who do the same thing. So
there you go. It's just a different kind of sticks. Like those are frozen sticks.
Yes, exactly. Frozen sticks. I've never heard of it described that way, but oh wow.
Me neither.
So there you go. It's coming up with another phrase, just like the pelvis kiss, Alex. Well done, well done. Okay, so you wanted to talk about Chrissy, the brofessor, Alex. What did you think of the brofessor?
Oh man, I like Chrissy. I think she's fun, but I think, enjoy Chrissy while she lasts. Like, I wouldn't get too attached and I mean, unless again, like these safety ceremonies, I just don't know. Like, is America going to be able to save the same people every week? Like, if she gets in and is buddies with like Jason, and like, can they just save Jason and his core alliance every week? Like, I don't, without knowing exactly how it's all going to work, I guess I can't say definitively one way or another who's doing good or going to, looks like they're in trouble. But Chrissy seems way too outspoken for the natural game of Big Brother. And it doesn't mean I don't like some of her opinions, even if they're like very out there. I think it's kind of fun to hear like some of the things she has to say. I can just already tell though that like that's the kind of thing that you don't want to be just like the loudest voice on night one necessarily. Like that was Jace last summer. Like the person who's like the biggest, most boisterous, like take charge kind of person. I mean, except for Jason, because in Jason's scenario, it's different. Once he comes in, like he's a returning player, and it does kind of like it puts him in that Boston Rob Redemption Island position where everyone's already looking to him to kind of lead a situation. But with Chrissy, it is kind of like you don't necessarily want to be that person, by choice. Like if people kind of look to you, that's one thing. But if you take it upon yourself, I don't know.
Yeah, Taran, have you ever heard anybody refer to themselves as a brofessor before? That I just couldn't get over that. Like, what was that she was talking about?
Well, maybe it comes from, she does a lot of powerlifting. I think I've heard probably that term come from some like lifting dudes. All
right.
That's honestly, that's probably where she gets it from. But yeah, she came into the house and just immediately sort of took over, right? Like it was just like judging everything in sight. Like, oh, this sucks. This sucks. This is great. I need one of these. What is happening here? Oh my God. like just very controlling, very, very aggressive. And it definitely came off poorly to me as, like this is probably not going to go over too well. She may have just been nervous. Maybe she calms down and she's a lot more agreeable. She's definitely somebody who's funny. She has a great sense of humor. She's pretty witty. So if she does calm down, I think she can fit in. But, if she remains that aggressive, then I don't see her really fitting in too well with any of these groups.
Yeah, I don't see her lasting long either. I think she's done first, Alex. What say you?
Yeah, I would expect her out in the first week or two, probably. And yeah, again, like Taran said, I think she is very witty, and I enjoy her as a character. I just don't think, again, unless the format really changes something for her, like this is not conducive to long-term Big Brother house stay.
I just need to interject because while we've been talking for probably the last like 15 minutes or so, Jason and Danielle have been bonding in one of the rooms, and it's just striking me in the head over and over. Danielle and Jason, it's like, oh! Right? Like, come on, make this happen for
it's
me.
The second coming of Danielle and Jason. Wow,
and they're bonding over like past seasons because she's a fan. They're talking about like what a douche Polly is, and like,
wow, that's great.
Please make this happen, guys.
That would actually be really fun. And I was just going to say, I was worried about Danielle because she came in the house. She was the last of the newbies to come in the house, and she was a little reserved, a little quiet, but maybe this bodes well for her. Alex, what did you think of Danielle based on what we saw from her package and what you saw of her in the house tonight?
Yeah, pretty encouraging. And then, that's good. Nothing bonds people, especially in the Big Brother house, but nothing bonds people like, mutual, like having a mutual douche to agree upon. And enter Polly, really. I mean, come on.
Mutual douche. Oh, man.
Oh, man. I wish we could use that as the hashtag tonight.
Right?
That would be
immediately
great.
what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that, the Danielle and Jason 2.0. I mean, I'm curious to hear what Danielle Reyes thinks about that, if that actually becomes a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna, hold out hope for Danielle. I'm not gonna get too excited about her yet. I didn't see a ton that I love tonight. It's still super early. It's like 2 hours into the game. So we will see. But Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think the girls are going to be jealous of her. I don't know, because of her. She's good looking. I think the guys are going to like her. She likes football, and the guys are already talking about football. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous about Danielle, but maybe some of that adversity that she gets from being disliked by the other girls in the house could lead her to be beloved by the fans, especially if she's teamed up with Jason. So stay tuned for that. I'm just trying to think. I think we kind of touched upon everybody of importance here, really. I mean, is there anybody else that we did? I guess Neely, we didn't talk about her. The only thing from Neely that I noticed tonight was she came in. She seemed likable, nice. She got along with people well. But Alex, she was talking, or when Chrissy mentioned that she was the grandma of the group during the champagne drinking, Chrissy was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm 31. I'm the grandma of the group." And Neely said, "Oh, yeah, I'm 28. Yet her bio on CBS.com says she's 33.
Yeah. Yeah, lied about her age. And the last time we saw that really as like a focal point of someone's strategy, they lost the jury vote because of it. So I wouldn't recommend it.
Wait, who are you referring to in this
Talking
case?
about Natalie Martinez.
Natalie Martinez. See,
famously said she was in her 20s and was not, and the jury just didn't understand why she needed to do that, and that was the reason. Like, why is this girl just making up lies just to make up lies? I don't want to reward that behavior.
See, I was thinking the person I was thinking of was Frankie Grande, because Frankie lied about his age too for no reason, and I was like, Frankie didn't get to the end. But
Frankie just told so many things. I think I just stopped listening at a point.
I wish we all had that ability, Alex. That would be great. Okay, well, I think really, I mean, guys, that's going to do it. I think just to close things up for you guys, to set things up for those of you who are on your commutes and, who are in the morning or who did not get a chance to watch the first night of BBOTT because you're not watching this season. You're just going to be listening to the podcast. First off, thank you. We appreciate it over here on RHAPisawebsite.com. But basically, the last thing that we saw before we came on the podcast was Julie came on to the house guest. She came on the screen or the monitor and talked to them in a pre-recorded segment and said that it's going to be a game-changing season. And their first game changer of the season is that it's not that Sierra Dawn Thomas from Survivor is entering the house. It's that there is no jury this season. So that has become official. We knew that. The house guests now know that. They seemed intrigued by that. And the first HOH competition is going to be tomorrow. So there you go. HOH competition is going to be on Thursday. Any idea on a time for that yet, Taran?
I don't think she mentioned a time. And yeah, it was interesting seeing the reactions from the house guests when she announced that there was going to be no jury. I tried to look for Jason's response. I tried to look for Scott's because, I mean, for Scott, that's really bad news for Scott. Like,
oh, terrible news.
He is not the kind of guy that's going to get, America's vote, really. Like, he's going to really have to work hard to get somebody in the final two with him that he's going to win over. That's some pretty bad news right from the get-go. Apparently Danielle was telling Jason that she wasn't very happy about it because the only reason she's here is to play the game, and this is a different game, so she's pretty disappointed about that. Jason said though that he didn't really care, so at least there's that. At least there's somebody who's unaffected.
Oh, surprise. The guy that America knows coming into the game doesn't care that America gets to decide who wins this game.
and also happens to love international versions of Big Brother and knows exactly how this sort of stuff works. So, I mean, of course Jason's going to like this. Yeah,
in this version, it is actually probably encouraged to be the person that streaks the first night.
There's someone that I think that we should talk a little bit more about, Whitney. We did get your impression, Jordan.
Yeah, well, I won't do that again.
No, you should do that a lot,
all the time.
I'll save it, Taran. I'll save it for you when we're in New York. How about that? When we're hanging out,
you can serenade me. There's somebody in the chat that would really love that.
And for the record, there was someone in the chat earlier that was saying Taran and I should date. So so there you go, Taran. I never knew that. I never knew you felt that way about me, man. So I'm flattered. I'm honored.
Sometimes these feelings, they just come unbidden.
Go write a fanfic about it.
Love is in the air. I'm seeing Alex on my screen in 2 different places, and it's crazy all around. But anyway, Whitney comes into the house, and she's talking all about production. She's the one that's really just talking about, like, they were telling me this. I gleaned this kind of information. I already knew your name because I saw your name tag, and they accidentally called me Shelby once, so I knew there was a Shelby. And when I was coming in, I heard them say, send the last one in after, so thinking something's happening there. And I was like, this is telling me, like, confirming what I thought was potentially good about Whitney. Like, she seems observant. She's a fan of the game. She also is coming off very sweet, but also, why are you telling people you're so observant? Why are you telling people all of these things? Like, if I come into the house and somebody's saying, look at all this information I gleaned from people trying to keep information from me, I'm immediately going to be like, whoa, okay, you are dangerous.
True, but that moment for me also confirmed something I was hoping about this season and the way it's going to be produced in general, which is just the fact that the things you described should have cut feeds in any normal Big Brother season. Like, I don't care if it's the first 10 minutes of feeds or whatever. Like, if she starts going on about production like that, it's like that reminded me of Alyssa, and feeds were always going down because Alyssa just couldn't stop saying, like, what do you think Scott back there thinks about? And she like kept naming production. It's like, you can't do those things. And feeds would go down for like a half an hour because she just wouldn't understand. And yeah, so then this was like, Whitney was doing the same stuff, but feeds I was just waiting for the fish and they never came. And I'm like, ooh, who knows what we might get this season, Jordan? Who knows what things people might say that CBS won't save them from themselves.
If only BB9, the cast of BB9 got together and was on OTT. I guess technically that kind of was OTT, right? Because it was in the winter, so it was like an additional season. So maybe
was not over the top, Jordan. That was BB under the bridge. Yeah, that was a bunch of trolls.
Oh man, this will be good. I think this is gonna be fun, guys. I'm more encouraged by watching this, even though it wasn't the greatest presentation in terms of how we saw things tonight. But I like this cast. I think this is gonna be fun. And I don't know. I'm just going into this with an open mind. Who knows what the hell is gonna go on? Nothing too crazy has been announced yet, so I'm remaining optimistic. We'll see what happens with the season as it goes on. Guys, anything you want to add before we close things out tonight? Sorry we didn't get to questions. Just didn't really get – it's just so late for Taran and Alex. We just didn't really have time to set things up. Next week, we will be taking those. So we will be back next Wednesday night. You can tweet your questions into me. I'm at Jordan Parhar. Use hashtag RHAPpy. That's for next week. You can also send your long-form questions in to me by emailing us RHAPpy@robhaswebsite.com. So, Alex, any final thoughts on tonight's events?
Yeah, sure. Let me just issue a retraction and apology to Monty Massengill for talking about how not getting into the depth of his character. He's such a smart and intelligent young man, and I should have not judged the book by his cover by the fun facts he gave, being that he's been to Montana and that he's farted someone into a coma. So, mea culpa, Monty.
Yeah, Monty seemed like he wasn't that bad, but he's still, I don't know. That comment, I don't think he'll be able to get over it. Taran, anything else on a house guest that we didn't really get a touch upon? Shelby, thoughts on her? Her laugh was good. Her laugh was good.
Her laugh was not as bad as it was in the interview. I'll give her that. And Shelby. I think Alex can speak on this. Alex seems to like her a lot.
Shelby's so awesome.
Yeah.
So was Shelby.
What about her is so awesome, Alex?
She's funny. I don't know. I think she's going to be a good house guest. I really do.
Oh, okay. And what else? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What do you want from me, Jordan?
All right. Just checking, Kidwell. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Taran, she's pretty awesome. You got anything to add to that?
I mean, she seems pretty great. I don't know about her chances in the game, but she seems pretty great otherwise. I mean, like I said before, she came in, she seems exactly how I expected her, to be honest. I did see her sort of playing around with Jason a little bit, so she might be able to get in there. And I think if she gets in there, that's probably a great spot for her. But my fear with her is that she also gets a little too hands-on with the game. She's already lying about the fact that she is a lawyer. She's saying that she's a waitress. Who knows how long that'll hold up? Especially if she continues to sort of like show off that like she's really smart. I'm really hoping that she really plays the dumb card, because I think that'll work really well for her. So yeah, I mean, I think she's somebody to look out for. I think that she could either be good or probably pretty bad. So interesting either way, I think.
And I hope she can get into a showmance with Shane, because that is easy pickings for Shelby. Like she could definitely, that's just a free vote for Shelby.
Shelby Morgan, Shane triangle. It's gonna happen. Calling my shot right now. I'm calling it. It's gonna happen. We'll see. Okay. Well, thank you to everybody for tuning into this edition of the RHAPpy Hour. Hashtag tonight, gentlemen. The Pauly one. Should we use it? We probably shouldn't use that one. I don't think Rob would be too thrilled. Pokemon Go OTT. You guys cool with that? No.
Would that be Pokemon GOOTT?
What about what about Big Brother Under the Bridge? What about BBUTB?
BBUTB. Okay, Big Brother Under the Bridge. Okay, yeah. Why don't we go with that?
#9 metaphor.
Yes, hashtag BBUTB. Tweet us and let us know what you thought about this edition of the RHAPpy Hour and what you thought about Big Brother Over the Top so far, what you think of it so far, at least. You can tweet us. Alex is at Alex Kidwell. Taran is at Armstrong Taran. And again, I'm at Jordan Parhar. Rob will be back live on Friday. Don't have the exact time on that show yet, so there will be an update in terms of the HOH competition, a little bit more of what's actually going down in the house. So follow Rob on Twitter. He's at Rob Sesternino. That way you will make sure you can find out when exactly that show is going live, or you can go to robiswebsite.com on Friday if you want to check that out. We will be back on Sunday night as well. I'm not 100% sure if Alex and Taran are on board. I'm assuming they are. So it's going to be the two of us. Hopefully Brent will be back. We'll do a roundtable RHAPpy Hour show talking about what's going on the feeds. Hopefully we can get into some good stuff. Hopefully it's not just a bunch of nothing, kind of like tonight. But even if it is, we'll find something to talk about. So hopefully we will see you there. And then 1 week from tonight, we will be back to recap the first eviction in the BBOTT house. Should be tons of fun, and I can't wait to see you guys there. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can go to robisawebsite.com/RHAPpy Hour. That's happy hour with an R at the front. Or you could subscribe on YouTube as well. robisawebsite.com/YT. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of the RHAPpy Hour. Thanks to everybody who tuned in live tonight. Really appreciate it. It's so late on the East Coast, 1:30 on the East Coast. So thank you to those of you watching us live. Thank you to Alex and Taran for staying up late and working the night shift with me. For Alex Kidwell and Taran Armstrong, I'm Jordan Parhar. Hashtag BBUTB. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace out.